Errol Spence's strengths are not Terence Crawford's weaknesses. There's a reason they say styles make fights. Right? Different styles present different obstacles for different opponents. Just because Yuriorkis Gamboa was able to land the right hand on Terence Crawford while he was in the southpaw stance. Just because Mean Machine was able to land the right hand on Terence Crawford when he was in the southpaw stance, doesn't mean that a southpaw Errol Spence, who doesn't have that punch, doesn't even fight the same way, fights in a completely different stance, is going to have the same success. That's not how that works. Even if you consider Errol Spence an A-class fighter, you maybe give Gamboa and Mean Machine the C-class. Just because they have success doesn't mean that their higher grade fighters are automatically going to have the same success. We could take a guy like Amir Khan. Amir Khan has a glaring weakness. He's chinny, right? He's been knocked out by 4 guys who you probably would consider elite, or damn near close to it. So we got Danny Garcia at 140. Danny was elite at 140. He got knocked out by Canelo, and Canelo's just Canelo. Canelo got knockouts as high as 175. He got knocked out by Terence Crawford, who has nothing but knockouts at 147. And then Kell Brook, both of the guys kind of a little older, I guess. But Kell Brook has plenty of knockouts at 147, went up to 154, and went 2-3 with knockouts. So we're talking about guys who can crack. Now, if we look at Breeders' Prescott, who knocked out Amir Khan, there are plenty of people who, career-wise, you would say is a level above Breeders' Prescott. Guys like Devin Alexander, guys like Chris Algieri, guys like Lamont Peterson. You may all say, hey, man, all of these guys were way better than Breeders' Prescott. So according to many of you on YouTube, if he knocked them out, if he knocked out Amir Khan, surely these guys should be able to do the same thing. No, their strengths are not Amir Khan's weakness. Even though Amir Khan is chinny, listen to everybody that knocked him out can at least crack. Right? Everybody that stopped him can at least crack. Devin Alexander's not known for his power. Chris Algieri's not known for his power. Lamont Peterson is not known for his power. So what happens? Right? All 3 of those fights go to distance. Many people feel Lamont Peterson got a gift decision. But Amir Khan damn near went 3-0 with them. But he went 2-1. And he didn't get knocked out. Even guys like Marcos Maidana, who can crack, right? Marcos Maidana gave Floyd Mayweather a hard time. Well, Amir Khan had him rolling around holding his stomach. Well, how did that happen? How could a guy who troubled a guy that's like an all-time great in Floyd Mayweather, how could he trouble him and then not even knock out Amir Khan? I wonder why. Because styles make fights. And it boils down to strengths and weaknesses. Just because Errol Spence has a great jab and a great volume jab, right? And Kell Brook has some success against Terence Crawford. And I think Kell Brook has a better jab than Errol Spence, personally. Just because Kell Brook has some success does not mean that, okay, this guy also throws a jab, he's going to have the same amount of success. They don't even fight from the same stance. Again, Kell Brook is orthodox. Right? Errol Spence doesn't have the timing that Kell Brook has. And he doesn't. Kell Brook is more dangerous from the outside than Errol Spence is. When the last time you seen Errol Spence hurt anybody from the outside with a left hand? Most of the time he ends up reaching and just getting caught on his front foot. And having to shell up going high guard real fast so he don't get countered. He hasn't hurt anyone with that punch recently. So, just because Errol Spence has a great gas tank, is that Terence Crawford issue? Does Terence Crawford get tired? No. I heard someone say, hey man, Errol Spence is sparring 15 rounds. When the last time you seen Terence Crawford tired? You haven't. Terence Crawford could go 15 rounds. You talking about a guy who stays in the gym year round. So that's not going to be an issue for Terence Crawford. Errol Spence pressure is not going to be an issue for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford fights excellent going backwards. Danny Garcia doesn't. Sean Porter doesn't. I can't think of anyone on Errol Spence's resume who fights good going backwards, who uses a lot of lateral movement, who uses a little lateral movement. So even if Errol Spence is coming forward, he still has to watch out. Terence Crawford scored a knockdown against Victor Postal while he was going backwards. He scored a knockdown against Sean Porter while he was going backwards. And these are guys who, at the time, wasn't known for going down. Victor Postal fought guys like Lucas Matisse, who knocked out Lamont Peterson. And he didn't go down in that fight. So obviously Terence Crawford is able to generate power from his back foot, fighting off with the back foot. So every time I look at Errol Spence's strengths, I don't see any of these being Terence Crawford weaknesses. Now that doesn't mean he can't win. Right? You still can win. He still can outbox him. He still can outscore him. He still can outpoint him. He still possibly could even knock him out. I'm not saying that disqualifies him from victory, but as far as what you guys are saying, just because he does something well and you deem him to be an A-class fighter and maybe a C-class fighter has some success, well, you're forgetting one of the first rules or sayings in boxing, and that's styles make fights. That's why they use that term. That's why they tell you the triangle theory doesn't work. Right? With Hearns knocking out Duran and Hagler knocking out Hearns. And then Duran going to a decision with Hagler, who's known to have more power than Hearns. So how the guy that hits harder is not knocking out the same guy? Because maybe the punch is from a different angle, different trajectory. Maybe he didn't see the punch. You know what I mean? Maybe he ran him into the, maybe he set him up. It's a lot of other factors that are being missed. And I feel like that's the disconnect. Because when I listen to some of you guys, it's like, what fucking Errol Spence have you been watching? But now I know. It's because you think just because he does something well, that he's entitled to success. And the other guy must bend to his will. That's not how fighting works, man. You got guys like Sean Porter and fucking Robert Guerrero, who look what they did to Berto. And then look what the great Floyd Mayweather did to Berto. Almost nothing. Guerrero beat the shit out of Berto. Sean Porter stopped Berto. Floyd Mayweather, 12-round decision. I don't even think he knocked him down. Now, why couldn't Floyd have the same success as these guys? And I believe Floyd fought Berto in between these two guys. So why didn't he have the same amount of success if he's such an A-class ATG fighter? Again, because Floyd Mayweather's strength is not Berto's weakness. Berto's weakness is relentless pressure, guys throwing punches from different angles, and he can't block everything, and him being too conservative with his punches. Not the guy who's just going to have quicker hands, quicker feet, and pot shot me. Now, of course, Floyd Mayweather still won, but he didn't win in the same fashion because style